social media gives you the illusion, or somebody who has no idea about entrepreneurship, that entrepreneurship is sweet.
It's
I
the
want you to
ghetto.
walk me through that period of time when it was good, when you stepped away from your job or whatever, pushed out,
Hmm.
whatever the case may be. You were like, okay, cool, I got this, and then you hit a wall,
Oh yeah.
and things
Even
weren't
now
as
I hit
sweet
walls.
as they were. Tell me about that. Tell us about that time period, and how did you keep going, please?
First and foremost, I always tell everybody entrepreneurship is the ghetto.
Yes.
It is the ghetto. Like you got parenthood, which is like the projects, and then right next to it is the ghetto. So you got
Mm-hmm.
entrepreneur like they're neighbors, right? And so I have learned, so when network marketing was doing great, everything was good. You know, checks are rolling in, team members are building their team. I'm doing all the meetings and everything. I'm making the phone calls. I knew what I had to do,
Mm-hmm.
right? And then actually what happened, the company that I was a part of went bankrupt.
Wow. Hey, family. This is Che Willis coming back with another episode of Wealth is a Journey podcast. Guys, this is episode 87. 87 weeks of consistency. We out here moving, speaking, doing all the things. We outside, man. And if you are a new listener, watcher, or subscriber, thank you so much for joining us. On this podcast, we talk about faith, family, and finances, among other things. If you are a return listener, watcher, or subscriber, thank you so much for joining us. Hopefully, we are adding value to your lives on the way to the M's. Because as always, we are on our way to the M's. Now, speaking of the M's, I have a distinguished guest today. A distinguished guest. This is my sister, my family, from the morning meetup. One of the brains behind the operation of the morning meetup. We got Miss Nella Coleman. What's up, Nella?
You so extra. You call me extra. How are you? How are you?
I'm doing well. I'm doing well. Yes. Nella is on here today, and we are going to get into it. We're going to talk about systems. We're going to talk about what you need for your business. A lot of people don't know that they need systems for their business to operate properly, and she is here to talk about it. However, we're going to get into some other things as well.
Okay.
So Nella, if you wouldn't mind just introducing yourself and telling us where you're from,
Yeah,
please.
of course. Well, you guys, my name is Nella. I am originally from the city of brotherly love, you know, West
Yes.
Philadelphia, born and raised. All right. But I currently reside in the Atlanta area with my wonderful daughter, my wonderful baby girl, and soon to be husband. So
Let's go.
but that's who I am. Entrepreneur, mom, fiance, all the things.
Let's go. So by the time this comes out, you will be happily married.
Yes.
And but what I want to know first, I don't really know if you was outside in Philadelphia. I don't know what, because I never asked you how old you are, but this question is going to answer everything I need to know. Uh, did you ever go to club dances?
Do we have to do this right
No,
now?
I just want to know.
Yes.
Club dances, were you outside?
Yes, I was outside. I was
Okay, let's
outside. Mom, Dad, I'm sorry now. I was out in the streets a little bit in Philly.
That's what's up. Yeah, we the reason I said that is because we were on the call earlier this morning. We were talking about West Coast video, and I was in West Philly as well, right off of 63rd and Haverford. And there was the shop right there, or depending on what year it was shopping bag, then shopping
Yeah.
bag, then shop right, and then so there was a West Coast video right there, and you was like, "Oh, you dating us?" Like I didn't know you was outside like that. Well, yeah,
Like chill. You letting people know how old people are. Like chill out.
that's what's up. That's what's up. So, um, you are a full-time entrepreneur currently, right?
Yeah. Yes.
Were you ever in the corporate space?
Mhm. Yeah,
Oh,
I was in corporate America, and corporate America actually kicked me out of being in corporate America. And that,
explain. Explain, please.
so can't tell y'all the
Yeah,
actual
as much
company
as you
for
can.
legal reasons,
As much as you can.
but but I did work in corporate America for a few years, and while I was pregnant with baby girl, I actually gave them my maternity leave notice.
Hmm.
And for a long time, I've been an entrepreneur for a very long time, full time entrepreneur since 2019. And one thing, even when I was in network marketing, that I always taught people was they will look 9 to 5s, they will starve you. The hand that feeds you is also the hand that starves you,
Hmm.
right? And so it's always important to have, if you have a 9 to 5, it's always important to have some other type of stream of income, especially if you live in an at-will state, right? And so I was pregnant with my daughter. I was 6 months pregnant, and I gave them my maternity leave notice. Exactly 1 week later, they gave me a termination notice. And I
Wow.
know everybody in the chat gonna be like, isn't that illegal? Yes, it's illegal. And trust me, when I tell y'all the EEOC is my best friend, okay? Because whenever I have been done wrong in a bit by a company, I'm very quick to go to the EEOC. And so that's exactly what I did. I
Mm.
pulled out, they stated that I was terminated for my work ethic and my performance. And I pulled out the receipts. Wait a minute, y'all awarded me for this, that. Y'all don't get y'all. We're not doing this. Just like y'all keep my records, I keep my records too. So went to EOC with all the documentation, with their handbook of how things should be operated, and we went to court.
Wow.
But from that moment on, that's when it really hit home for me. Because it's one thing to teach something, but it's another thing to be able to have experienced it. So at the time, I had a very successful network marketing team. And so for me, I was relieved. I was like, okay, now I can go full on
Hmm.
on my team. And I
Hmm.
did. There was not a break in my financials. There was not nothing. I didn't feel it. I felt
Yes.
I felt free in that moment, right? And
Yeah.
so when that happened, my presentations, it was a lot more passion behind it because I lived. Like the moment they let me go,
Hmm.
I went to go, I had a doctor's appointment, insurance was already cut off. Like all the benefits was gone
Wow.
by the end of the day,
That's
just
crazy.
like that. So from that moment on, I was like, okay, like this is real. The hand that was feeding me really starved me. So
Wow. So did that put you behind after, like, as far as like you having the baby, having baby girl? I'm
mhm.
assuming you didn't have insurance at that point. Did that kind of put you?
So as far as financially, no, I
Okay.
wasn't behind. I was good. But
Okay.
as far as medical concerned, I didn't see a doctor until the day baby girl was born.
Okay.
So I went 6 months without, well, 3 months without any doctor visits because as soon the closer you get, the more often you go into that
Yes.
doctor's appointment.
Yes.
I didn't see a doctor, and the funny thing is, I was actually induced
Mm.
because something told me I needed to go to the hospital,
Okay.
and I was like, I feel fine, everything's cool. Went to the hospital, came home. They sent me home. They were like, "You're good. The baby's good." Next day, something said, "No, get your butt up and go back to that hospital." I went back to the hospital, and right the second day I went back, they told me, "No, we have to induce you right now, or else this baby is not going to live to the weekend."
Wow. Woo.
And
Man. I'm,
just
I'm
like
glad
that,
I'm glad you
came
listened.
baby girl.
I'm glad you listened. And that makes me think of many times where us as adults, uh, or children,
Mhm.
we do something, and then in the back of our heads, after the thing gets done and then we get a bad result from it. I knew I shouldn't have done that.
Yep.
and it was something inside of you telling you that you needed to go to the hospital or to go to the doctor. And I'm so glad that you listened because she's so
Yeah,
precious.
thank
She's so
you.
precious. She,
Thank you.
I believe that she gets that from Jay Star, even
Oh,
though,
that's
even
okay.
though he's a Ravens fan and they beat our Cowboys the
Ah,
other week.
I mean, you
I
know the
was so mad.
cowbell.
I was so
You
mad.
know. This number has been disconnected.
That's right. The number you have dialed. I had him with that. I'm like, yo, don't call me right
You
now.
were in your feelings.
I was hot. But as far as the corporate job that you actually had,
Mhm.
what was that? Like, you don't have to tell me the company that you work for, but what did
Insurance.
you do? Okay,
So I was a medical adjuster. So I was, if you got into a car accident, I'm the person that's calling your phone or you're calling me if you went to the hospital, or God forbid, I had experiences when somebody passed away in car accidents. And so I'm the person picking up the phone to make that. I know it's the wrong time. I know it's a hard time, but we got to handle these medical bills. Like, I'm the person that handled the medical bills and everything, all of your treatments, all of that.
okay. So
Mhm.
what was the, because I'm asking you for me too, and anybody else who may be out there who may be on the fence about, hey, well, maybe entrepreneurship is for me, or maybe it's not for me. What was
Mhm.
the thing that told you that I'm going to just continue to do the network marketing piece? Because having a job is there's consistency there. There's that consistent paycheck. It's not, there's no ebbs and flows. You know what you're making, things of that nature. So
Mhm.
what was the thing that said I'm going to continue doing this in network
Yeah.
marketing?
So at the time I was building, so for me, and this is my advice to any entrepreneur. When you get to a point where your job is getting in the way of the income of the business, that's when you have to make a decision.
Mm.
And that's the point that I was getting to. And I was very much that person, like, look, I got health insurance, I got dental, I got vision, I got my 401k.
Mhm.
I'm chilling. I'm
Yeah,
good, right?
yeah,
I know exactly what I make every single 2 weeks. And if I do overtime, I know what that check look like too, right?
facts. Yes.
But but at the same time, I also knew that if I put my everything into my network marketing company, I could be making the same thing, if not more,
Mm,
and still have the freedom that I wanted to have, right?
yeah.
My managers, they were getting sick and tired of me because the network marketing company I was a part of, we did travel. And so they were sick and tired of me always putting my PTO in, always seeing me on Instagram and stuff, going this place, going that place, and everything else. I'm always in a new country, new city somewhere, right?
Wow.
And for me, I knew I was getting to that plateau in my professional career as in corporate America. And
Mhm.
so I started praying because I knew that I wouldn't leave the job on my own.
Sure.
So I started praying on a regular basis, Lord, if it's for me to be doing this, doing my network marketing business, if it's me for me to be an entrepreneur full time, you're going to have to push me out of this job because I'm not going to do it by myself.
Mhm. Mhm.
And sure enough,
Mhm.
I got pushed out the job.
Yeah, yeah.
So when that happened, I said, okay, now he's done what I asked him to do. It's my decision to continue.
That's
So.
good. That's good. Now walk me through the conversation with your significant other, because he wasn't
Mhm,
your husband at the time, but walk me through that, because I'm sure this is going to help somebody who, again, is on the fence, but they have a spouse or significant other, and they
mhm.
need to have that conversation with them. How did that go?
So we actually were not in a relationship. We had just met
Okay.
a few months before that, but I have been in relationships because I was previously married.
Okay.
So when I first started in network marketing, solo, I was married at the time, and I had to have that conversation with my fiance, with my husband at the time.
Mhm.
I had to let him know, like, this is what I want to do. And the thing is, I didn't say basically like you have no choice but to
Yeah.
support me.
Hmm.
I gave him the option to be included in on my venture
Hmm.
if you want to support me. And I gave him the ways that he was able to support me because at the time, before I went into traveling, I was in Mary Kay.
Okay.
And so Men, they're not too keen on the makeup thing, but there are other ways to assist me, right?
Okay.
So if there were good little goodie bags that I needed to be put together, giving him a role or allowing him the choice to be of assistance in my venture was a huge help. But then also, and this is even now with me and J Star, there are times where I'll come to him and say, babe, I'm going on a run for 3 months. I just need you to give me 90 days.
Yeah.
There might be, and I'll have a conversation with baby girl too, and let her know, look, mommy's not going to be able to play like usual.
Yeah.
If mommy says that she's working, I promise you we'll be able to play, but also incorporating moments. So even though I'm going on a 90-day run, there may be a Saturday or two that I'm like, okay, I'm dedicated because I can't neglect them
For
entirely.
sure. Yeah.
But there may be times where we put it on the schedule. Okay, I'm going on this 90-day run. What 2 days or what 2 days out of the month, each month, do you guys want? Is it a Saturday? Is it a Friday night? What does that look like? And including them in those plans, it makes it easier to have that conversation of, look, this is what I'm going to do. I need you to stick with me on it. Versus just saying, this is my decision. You either take it or leave it.
Yeah. Yeah. Man, as you were talking, I'm starting thinking about entrepreneurship, and I know you're or you were at one time heavy on social media, and social media gives you the illusion, or somebody who has no idea about entrepreneurship, that entrepreneurship is sweet.
It's
I
the
want you to
ghetto.
walk me through that period of time when it was good, when you stepped away from your job or whatever, pushed out, whatever the case may be. You were like, okay, cool, I got this, and then you hit a wall,
Oh yeah.
and things
Even
weren't
though
as
I hit
sweet
wall.
as they were. Tell me about that. Tell us about that time period, and how did you keep going, please?
First and foremost, I always tell everybody entrepreneurship is the ghetto.
Yes.
It is the ghetto. Like you got parenthood, which is like the projects, and then right next to it is the ghetto. So you got entrepreneur, like they're neighbors, right? And so I have learned, so when network marketing was doing great, everything was good. Checks are rolling in, team members are building their team. I'm doing all the meetings and everything. I'm making the phone calls. I knew what I had to do, right? And then actually what happened, the company that I was a part of went bankrupt.
Wow.
Just like that. Those checks stopped coming real fast. Right? And I'm like, hold up. Hello. So the trips stopped going, the vacations stopped happening as often as they were happening, right? Going away with friends, with J Star, all the things that I was accustomed to, the lifestyle that we had created, it all came to a stop. And so, and we were, always the ones on social media taking the video of the plane in the airport. Oh, where y'all going now? Where y'all always out somewhere else? Those posts stopped real fast, right? And so during that time, it became real quick of what are we going to do next? I had to go in think mode. I didn't have time to sit there because now I have baby girl, I have me. I don't have time to sit and mope that the company that's responsible for my income is gone, right?
Yeah.
And so J Star and I just started talking about Airbnb. And we went full-fledged into it, like nonstop. Within 4 months, we had 2 properties, made $12,000 in 4 months. And we were on top of the world.
Yep.
And we start teaching other people how to build their Airbnb business, putting that together, putting courses together, speaking engagements, all of the different things. And then COVID hit.
Yep.
And so we had to pivot. We had to understand. And that's where being a consistent student comes in.
Yeah.
So we started looking at what other people were doing. Like people say, don't watch the lane. Sometimes you have to, because that's how you stay up to date in your industry, right?
For sure.
And so for us, switching from tourists and people that were going on vacations, we then switched from to business executives and nurses because they need long-term stays. So having to understand and be understand your industry. Don't think you know everything because you don't.
Yes, a
Right.
fact.
And then pivoting over and learning how to pivot, not changing the goal, but learning how to, you gotta ebb and flow. Like you
Yeah.
were saying earlier, like we have to know, we have to be flexible. The goal is what stays put, but our plan has to be flexible enough that we can still reach the goal, but we can move when something gets in the way.
Got it. Now, as far as I got two questions, and
Okay.
I'm fighting which one I want to. All right, I'm gonna go here
Throw them
first.
both at
I'm gonna
me.
go here first. I'm gonna go here first. The first question is a lot of people,
Mhm.
when everything's good, everything's moving great, something happens, but then they tend to live the same way as if things are still going well. Did
Guilty.
you face that? And if you did, let's talk about that,
Guilty.
please, please.
Guilty as charged. I don't know if you ever seen that TikTok where they be like, count one, guilty, count two. Yeah, that's me.
Hmm.
I'm count one, two, three, and four. So, but it definitely was an adjustment for us.
Yeah.
And when I tell you, even us transitioning from Baltimore and Jersey, because he was living in Baltimore, I was living in Jersey, coming down here to Atlanta, and us being used to a certain lifestyle. We just had the conversation the other day. I'm like, look, I'm used to us going on vacation.
Hmm.
I'm used to us going out to eat. I'm used to
Yep.
us having fun when we want to have fun.
Starbucks.
Chill out. I know it's your podcast, so I'm gonna have some cools, okay?
My bad. I'm sorry. I'm a chill. I'm sorry.
But personal shots. But we need to figure out how to get back there. And trust me, because we've had a shift in lifestyle,
Hmm.
it made it very hard for me because it's like, man, okay, so what do I like to do now?
Yeah.
And it put me in a place like, I'm not gonna lie, I've gone through the depression
Yeah.
because he's always had his music. He can listen to
Hmm.
music whenever, he can make his music wherever, like he will go lock himself in the bathroom and blast the music, right?
Hmm.
I can't go out and have brunch like as often
Yeah.
as I would like, right?
Sure.
So I'm even now I'm in this stage of learning how to have a champagne lifestyle on a beer budget,
For sure. For sure.
right?
Yeah.
And I was literally just thinking this on the way, like while we were preparing. I was like, I'm gonna get back into my reading because I love reading,
Hmm.
whether it's personal development, nonfiction, fiction, whatever the case may be. I love reading. I'm gonna get back into my painting. I'm gonna get back into this because those are things that I love to do before relationship, before the lifestyle that I had. So why
Yep.
not go back to the things that made you happy in the beginning? And
And it don't cost
sometimes,
you nothing.
exactly.
Yeah.
And sometimes life happens like that because you forget where you came from.
That's a fact.
And
Yeah.
it's like, okay, you want to forget? Let me put a little pin in that real quick.
So my next question is, um as far as the Airbnb, you
Hmm.
you pivoted from corporate, you pivoted
Hmm.
from network marketing, then you pivoted to Airbnb. Are you still doing Airbnb now? And if not, what was the transition like in knowing that you had to put this business away? My name is Che Willis from Wealth is a Journey, and I help families living paycheck to paycheck live the life that they want to live through budgeting and investing. And I understand the word budgeting can be scary. However, what we're doing is we're lowering your expenses so you can have that money make you more money. And I also understand that giving your financial information to a total stranger is very scary as well. So what I've done is created a digital product on my website to take the fear completely out. You don't have to give your information to me or anybody else for that matter. The digital product gives you step by step on how to set up a budget, why budgeting is important, so you can get to living the life that you want to live starting today. So go to wealthisajourney.com. Again, wealthisajourney.com to start living the life that you deserve.
We both lost our passion for it. And I can't even say that it was passion, because if you're really passionate about something, there's nothing that can steer you away from it, right?
Sure.
So I would say we lost our drive for it.
Mhm.
And like I got bogged down with the day-to-day things. And this is why I love what I do now, because I've been there. I got bogged down with the day-to-day stuff. I got bogged down with, I know he was sick and tired of the 2 a.m. calls. Hey, I got locked out. I need somebody to let me in. And we waiting for people to land and all different things.
Sure.
It was something that both of us were tired of. And it got to a point where I became lazy in the business. He started to have to pick up my slack, right? And it started to create a strain, not just
Yep.
in the business relationship, but also personally, because we were business and in a relationship.
Yep.
So business was coming home, and it
For
wasn't
sure.
it wasn't always pretty when it came home.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so, and eventually, like once we decided to liquidate the business, I had to turn to him and like really be like, you know what, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I really had to put on my big girl and be like, I'm sorry. Like, I let you down. I let the business down. I didn't have a conversation of how I was feeling. Right. When things got a little tough, and that's a part of entrepreneurship. Granted, we both were kind of like, you know what, we're not really feeling this space anymore. And it wasn't a fact of, okay, we're just gonna quit. Like, no, we both set a timeline of, okay, if we're still feeling like this in this many months, then it's time to let the business go. Right.
Yes.
And
Yes.
so that's what we did. And once that time frame, we set a date, and once that date hit, we were just like, no, we gave it our all for the last stretch, and we were just like, no, we have to let this go. And so that ended up being a lot for us, because once again, that's another form of income that was no longer there.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it was the best decision for both of us, mentally, emotionally, relationally. Like, it was just the best.
Yeah. Now, and shout out to both of y'all, because a lot of people will they'll see something not working, and then they'll force it to try to work to their
Mm-hmm.
detriment.
Yeah.
And for you guys to be able to come together and agree that, hey, you know what, this is not working, but let's give it another shot. If it's
Mm-hmm.
not working at this date and time, we're just going, we're done. And
Yeah.
shout out to you guys for doing that, because a lot of people would not have done that. They would have just kept going. Their relationship would have failed, and then who knows where they would
Ain't
have
got
been.
nothing.
Yeah, exactly. You ain't got no houses no more, and you ain't got no relationship because you
Right.
didn't stop.
Mm-hmm.
That's what's up, man. Shout out to my guy J Star, by the way, man. Listen, if you need uh
Podcast intro.
podcast intro, this guy got bars. He's the voice of the morning meetup. If anybody's a part of the morning meetup, you'll know, if before you get on, you'll hear his voice. His lyrics are fire right away. So shout out to my guy. I've been married. I've been married for 19 years now.
Ooh,
So,
child.
so, so shout out to me for putting up with no, I'm lying, baby. If you're
Don't do
listening,
that. Don't
if
do
you nah,
that.
that's she know that's my baby. Tanera Willis, I love you, girl. but my question to you is, how did you know that J Star was the one? Was there something that you was like, you know what, this is the guy right here?
Oh, it sounds so cheesy. It sounds so like a it sounds so cheesy. But I actually told him 2 months after we met, mind you, I'm pregnant with Anaya at the time.
Mhm.
I tell him, you're the man I prayed for.
Wow.
And he looked at me like, he literally looked at me and he said, you're tripping. Like, you got a whole baby inside of you. He literally is like, you're tripping. You got a baby inside of you. Talking about, I'm the man for you. Like, you, I'm the man you pray for? Nah. I was like, all right, bet. Say less. 5 years later.
That's what. There you go. There you go. I remember when y'all got engaged too. You was doing engaged things. You every picture you had the ring up. You had you was doing all. I'm like, all right, enough. But I get it.
Yeah, like it literally, and we went through a lot during our relation, like the early part of our relationship, because I'm going through postpartum depression. I'm dealing with things with my family. Um, I'm going through, the business going bank, the network marketing company going bankrupt at the same time. Like everything was happening back to back to back. Lost my job, like everything.
Mhm.
And he stuck with me through all of it. We argued a lot in the beginning of our relationship, right? And there was something that he said to me because I was still dealing with things from her father not being around. And so when I told him that he was the man I prayed for, after he got over the "you're tripping" part, he looked at me, he was just like, "You're not ready for me."
Mm.
And I'm looking like, do you see this? What you mean I'm not ready for you? And I thought he was out his God-given mind. But as time went on, I started to realize, yeah, there was some healing I had to do,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And that, and on top of that, we pushed each other because we met through network marketing.
Okay.
And so we met through the same company. And so we had these moments where we would challenge each other, like, "Oh, I got 5 calls today. How many you at? Oh, I'm at 2. Oh, pick it up." Like we had this this banter back and forth with each other when it came to building our teams, right? And we would push each other when he started his clothing line. I'm like, do you have a website? It's like, no. And I would try to get him to make his own website. He wouldn't do it. So one day I sat down and made the website and sent it to him.
Look at you. Look at you adding value. Look at you.
Like, and so it was things like that it was a give and take for us,
Mhm.
back and forth, back and forth. And then eventually when we were in the height of like arguing all the time, um, I got to a point where I had to start praying again. Everything that I deal with, it always ends up going back to prayer. I always end up going back to God because trust me, I wouldn't be here right now if it
Facts.
wasn't for it. And so, in the height of our arguing, I asked him, I'm like, "All right, Lord, I know 2 months after I met him, I said that he was the man I prayed for. But if these arguments are a sign that like we need to sever ties, like
Mhm.
make it clear to me so that I can do so."
Sure.
But every time we argued, we would get closer and
Mm.
closer. And then that's what made it very clear that, okay, we ain't going nowhere. We locked in.
Yeah, that's good. I can tell you as a married man, the best part about marriage is basically like the best part about being an entrepreneur. You learn so much about yourself, and you think to yourself like, "Yo, is it me or am I tripping?" And a lot of the times, it's you're tripping.
You're tripping.
Yeah, a lot of the times it is. So did you ever come to that realization like, "Yo, well, maybe it's me." Like we argue a lot. What hand did I play in these arguments?
Why would you think I'm gonna admit
Because I
any of
know you a
that?
little bit. That's why. I mean,
Why would I admit anything that I have a hand in? Like what?
hey, Star, I'm riding for you, fam. Like she's not admitting it.
He
I know it's
tried to
her.
get a confessional out
I
of
know.
me. It's hilarious. It's like, nah. No, but there have been times where it's few in between,
I know.
honestly.
Of course.
But but there are times when we sit down and we have conversations about how the other person acted or what they said, how you may have hurt me, how I may have hurt you. And honestly, communication is something that we both are still working on,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And I feel like as time goes on, we're gonna have to continue to work on it because things are gonna change, we're gonna grow.
Yep.
And how you communicated with me 5 years ago may not be how you can communicate with me now.
That's a fact.
And so, but when we were going through premarital counseling, our pastor gave us some amazing tools that we actually started implementing. And we both like, look at us.
There you go.
Look at us talking through
Give us a
some
tool.
stuff.
Give us a tool that you implemented, please. This is gonna help
So,
somebody.
so actually we were actually in the middle of an argument right before our counseling session. And so we get on the call with our
Mhm.
pastor, and he just puts himself on mute. Literally, just put himself on mute and just let us go at it.
Mhm.
He just let us have the floor for the whole entire session. And in the midst of that, as things started to kind of cool off, we were able to communicate clearly to each other how one felt. He did assist in certain areas. So he
Sure.
was kind of like a middle person where, okay, well, Nella, this is where I hear J Star saying. J Star, correct me if I'm wrong. And then vice versa. And we're like, yeah. And then we started having our own conversation based off of how he laid the foundation and space for us to clearly hear what the other person was feeling and how they were saying it. I know for me, sometimes my delivery is trash.
You don't
Right.
say. Continue. I'm sorry. My
All
bad.
right. All right. My delivery is trash sometimes. And he will tell you,
Sure.
look, sometimes I can come off a certain way too.
Mhm.
And so sometimes we have to check ourselves. And I will, even like in the morning meetup, if I'm about to correct somebody or correct a situation, I have to ask myself, I'll be like, hold up, this is about to
Yep.
come out entirely wrong.
Yes.
Let me before I hurt somebody's feelings, because I know I can be blunt sometimes. I know that
Mhm.
I can go for a jugular without intentionally doing so.
Sure.
Um, and then on the flip side, I know I can be sensitive sometimes.
Mhm.
And so with that, we're starting to learn to um help each other understand what we meant in the words that we said. Because we may say something, but we mean something entirely different than how it came out. So
Yeah.
mhm.
Yeah. That's good. My wife is the same way. She's like this rough exterior. She might come off away, but she's soft.
Oh, soft
She's
and
so
gooey,
soft.
little pop
Yeah,
tart.
man. Like I'm like, yo, we come on, man. I know. Don't do that. I know you. Don't do that. Nah, that's my baby.
You're not a gangster.
But now that's good. So what I'm hearing so far
Mhm.
is as far as the business goes is that there's going to be a lot of different pivots, and you hear that with a lot of different entrepreneur stories that they went through this, they did this thing, it didn't work, they did this thing, it didn't work, they did this thing, it didn't work, and then they got on this one thing,
Mhm.
pause, and then it worked. So my question to you is, now you are you wrote a book, it's about systems. uh it sounds like you've always been doing systems or something system related.
Mhm.
So how did you know that this was the thing for you?
Um, everybody, honestly. So everybody in my life, from an Auntie Shaky to J Star to my mom, my dad, everybody has experienced how my mind works,
Hmm.
has told me from sun up to sundown, Nella, your mind is your gift. Your mind is your gift. And I ran from that for so long because I was sick and tired of hearing it.
Hmm.
Right. But what I've come to realize is a lot of times when people have issues in the back end of their business, it is very easy for me to pinpoint where the issue is, but also calculate how to fix the issue like that. Right. And typically, while I can be the outgoing person, I prefer to be behind the scenes. I can be, I
Yeah.
look, I prefer to be behind, look, I will be in the house chilling in some sweatpants in 2.5 seconds. I'm the first
Yes.
person to tell Jay, I'm ready to go home. Let's go.
Hmm. I'm the same.
The moment we get off morning meetup, I'm like, Okay. Like
Yeah.
I love the people, but at the same time, it's draining for me.
Mhm.
I'm very much an ambivert. Like I can turn it on when I need to, but when it's time to turn it off, I am grateful. Right.
Yes.
And so learning and realize for me, I started to realize I get excited when I talk about things like when I talk about systems, when I talk
Mhm.
about different software, when I talk about coding and this, that, and the next thing. My dad came down here a few months ago, and he's been in computer science my entire life. He knows how to code, he knows how to do all the things. And so he's currently coding a new system for stocks and investing.
I need to talk to him.
Yeah, definitely. And so he's been doing stocks since I was a little girl.
Let's
And
go.
so he kind of showed me the coding that he had. And I was like, oh yeah, this does that. Da, 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 da. And he just looked at me like,
Mm.
I thought I was speaking Chinese to you. Because he tried to explain it to my little brother. My little brother's like, yeah, dad, okay, sure. But I'm like excited about it.
Yeah.
Right. And so moments like that allow me to know, okay, you're headed in the right direction. You're going in the right direction. Seeing the look on people's faces when, for example, just last week, I believe it was, not too long ago, my somebody from the morning meetup actually reached out to ask me to create a website for her, and she needed it like the next day,
Okay.
like the next day.
Okay.
And sure enough, first thing in the morning, here's your website.
Let's go.
So it's just moments like that, and then seeing the happiness that I have created, if somebody I have allowed somebody to have just based off of something like that,
Yeah.
allows me to know I'm doing the right thing.
That's dope, man. So just so people who don't know what systems may be, like you may be
Mhm.
talking over their heads. Because if I
Yes.
think about a system, I think of SOPs,
Mhm.
standard operating procedures.
Right.
But there's so many other different things besides standard operating procedures. So when you think about a system in a nutshell, what is that you do? Like what is it?
Mhm. So standard operating procedures is a part of a system.
Hmm.
But a lot of times when people think systems, they also think automations. That's the first thing that they go, oh, I just need to, as an entrepreneur, I see this all the time. A lot of times new entrepreneurs will come in, they'll start their business and be like, I just need to automate everything. No, we need to put some things in place. Systems is the foundation of your business. So when you think systems for a solo entrepreneur, that's your SOPs, that's your procedures. Your standard operating procedures is literally like a recipe book of
Hmm.
how things get done, right? And it's the documentation itself showing so that if anybody who does not do this normal task on a regular basis was to step into the space and they were to pull this piece of document, they could do it and it would seem like there's no difference in the person, right? Procedures, policies, your those are what creates the work ethic in
Okay.
the business. So if you have policies and procedures in place, this is how you tell your team members, if you're a small business or a large corporation, this is how you tell your team members how they need to conduct themselves. How they conduct themselves with your clients, how they conduct themselves with each other in the workplace, whatever the case may be. This is you laying the law down, right? And
Yeah.
all of this is this is what systems, so systems is just the overarching word, but each portion of this is what creates the system, right? And I tell people all the time, when you think about Chick-fil-A, Chick-fil-A is the epitome of having like a chef's kiss when it
Yep.
comes to
Yep.
systems. And I used to work for Chick-fil-A, and when I tell you their training is top tier, to the point where it's been 12, 12 years since I worked, 12, no, 14 years since I worked for them.
Hmm.
I still say my pleasure to this day
Wow. Okay.
because it's ingrained into their system. It's ingrained into their business, right? That's a part of who they are. So systems, your policies, your systems, is your policies, your procedures, your SOPs, your workflows, and then at the very bottom of the list, then comes automations. Because if we don't have all that stuff in place, we can't automate the system to operate without us.
Got it. So we don't have to do all the things on our own. The automation will kind of take care of those things.
Yeah.
Now I understand. That's good. That's good. So what about that entrepreneur who doesn't think that they need a system? Like they have no idea that they even need it.
Mhm.
Um, I'm assuming that they could be losing a lot of money as a result of not having systems. So talk to that entrepreneur or
Yeah.
business person who thinks that they don't need any systems.
So first and foremost, you already have systems in place, but you just don't realize it.
Okay.
So there are things that we do on a daily basis. That's a system, right? Our workflows. So when you are onboarding a new client, when you're bringing a new client into your business, that's a part of your system, right? How you do that? What does that step by step look like? It just means a lot of times we say, I don't have systems or I don't need systems. Well, you do, because if you plan on growing your business, if you plan on hiring people, how do you expect to be able to train them? How do you expect to be able to bring on an actual CEO or even bring on somebody that can handle your finances for you? If you don't even know how, if you can't even document how your invoicing happens, right? So your invoices, I send an invoice every 1st and 15th of the month, let's say. That's a system.
Yeah.
How do you handle that? There's an SOP for that. That's a workflow. That's a part of your system.
Mhm.
So the person that thinks I don't need them, you already have them. You just have to document it and make it one Bible, basically.
Okay.
And a lot of times people mess up because we're operating our businesses off of memory. We don't have documentation. So, and this is where, especially if you are a small business and you have team members, this is where that whole, and if you've worked in corporate America,
Mhm.
you've probably said this before, we're not supposed to do it like this, but I do it like this because
Yep.
when you don't have those policies, those procedures, those SOPs, all that stuff, when you don't have that in place, that's how that happens. Because you don't have a structured way of doing it. I know that if I go to Starbucks, I'm going to get my drink the same exact way every single time because they have a structured way of creating that drink.
Yep. Yeah. That's good. That's good. So you wrote let's talk about this book here. Let's talk about this book. Automation is not a system.
Yes.
Automation is not a system. So what was the thing that cuz let's go back a little bit. People have been telling me that, hey, when you gonna write a book? And I'm like, I'm cool. I don't. I know. I get it. Listen. I get it.
Budgeting is your friend.
Yes, but what was? I'm sure that that's been inside of you for a long time, as far as like writing a book. What was the thing that said, hey, I need to write this book now. I need to get this out to the masses now.
David.
Mm,
David. So he and I have been talking about how to move my business along and take it to the next level.
hmm
And he is just like, I know that you take clients in your service-based business, but Nella, you need a product. You need something tangible and for me, going back to your original question to the person that thinks they don't need systems, that's usually just from a lack of knowledge and a lack of understanding, right?
hmm
And a lot of times when people hear systems, they think that that's only for big box companies and big name companies. So in having these conversations with David, David Shands, for those who don't
Yep.
know, in having these conversations with him, I started to realize I need to create my ideal client. And by doing that, what I have to do is start creating things that walks them through all the way up to the point where they need a full build out for $1 million company, right? And that starts at the very bottom of what is a system? what do these terms mean? Because we use these terms, but we don't actually know what they mean or how to implement them. So that's where automation is not a system came in, because we throw these terms around. We don't understand the meaning of them. We don't understand how they actually affect our business. And so in the book, that's what I walk through.
That's what's up, man. And I think also one thing that you had mentioned about these big companies, you think that these big companies are only people that need the system, but these big companies weren't always big companies.
Right.
And if you want to scale, you need to put different things in
Okay.
place.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's good.
Yeah.
And besides the book, well, let me ask you this. What are one or two things that people will walk away from when they read this book?
Yeah. So there's a few things in this book,
Go
y'all.
ahead, go ahead. Listen, we got time. Go
I put
ahead.
my everything into this book. So first and foremost, I walk you guys through how to actually create SOPs, standard operating procedures. I give you the template on how to create them. Right. So I give you the template. I give you a Notion template. So Notion is one of my favorite systems platforms. It's not really a system, but one of my favorite platforms. And so I give you a template on where on for where for to I give you a template in order for you to house all of your SOPs.
Okay.
So it's the SOP library. So after going through the book, you're able to, how to write your own SOPs. How I give you a map on how to onboard new clients. So if you are a
Mhm.
service-based business, you have literally a step-by-step of creating an onboarding system for yourself and for your clients. And I give you the templates that I literally use in email for those clients. So you can go ahead and literally copy and paste, fill in where it needs to get filled in, and use that as as part of your onboarding system for new clients. Along with just the basic knowledge that you need to know. So I give you the information of like, okay, these are the bare minimum of systems that I need. This is the bare minimum. And how to put those into your business. So that way, you're not just like, okay, I have the information, but now you also know how to go and implement it for yourself.
Let's go. And let me ask you this now. What if
Yeah.
I read the book and I still feel inadequate? And I
Mm,
feel like I need help. Can they call you for like one-on-one?
yeah.
Does that happen?
Yeah, of course. So you can, of course, at the end of the ebook, oh, first, there's also a whole section in there for you to do a self audit in your business,
Mm,
so that you can audit and look at where you might be losing money when it comes to the systems you might have or the platforms you might be using, because some platforms can do the same thing that the other one does. So you can get rid of stuff. But at the end of everything, you can book a one-on-one with me if you say, hey, I need just a little bit more. I need just a little bit more. I need that one-on-one, or maybe I just need somebody to help me walk through building the systems or figuring out the systems that I need. Go ahead and book a one-on-one call with me. It's right
let's
there.
go. Let's go. Yeah,
Mhm.
I'm gonna make sure that I put your book information, how to get the ebook, how to
Yes.
book a call, all those different things that people were going to need to get in contact with you, or if they want to read the book, get the information. I'm gonna make sure I take care of that. Also, with this book, from what I'm hearing, we read the books and all that stuff, and they say, hey, if you have a book, it makes you an expert. Then you get to talk in front of different audiences about the book, and it makes you that product expert.
Mm.
What you guys don't know is that Nella got a little Toastmasters award too.
Yeah.
She talks about it a lot on the morning meetup, man. Oh, I got a little Toastmasters award. So I already know that the that the public speaking is
The
going to be top
pettiness.
tier.
It's the petty. You just had to let that out.
I am. Yes, 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 yes. Yeah. So yeah, if anybody wants to join the petty gang, Nella is intaking. She's taking all applications. She is the
Oh God,
president and the
I
CEO of the
cannot.
petty gang.
Look, and Shay is the vice president. So Auntie Shady is our well, actually, no, Auntie Shady is the vice president, and Shay
Bruh.
is the
Yeah.
treasurer
Yes.
of it.
That's what's up. But yeah, this has been a great interview, a great time.
Thank you.
Um, this is my folks right here, man. Her, J Star, baby girl, even though she don't know it. Uh,
Yeah.
that's my peoples, man, and they're really good people. And if you need help in your systems, if you need bars, J Star got you. If you need help with your systems, make sure that you reach out to Nella. Also, make sure you pick up that book if you're, especially if you're a business owner or you're a beginner entrepreneur. You're definitely going to need those systems in place, especially if you feel like you're going to scale that business.
Yeah.
And you, why are you in business if you're not going to scale it?
Right.
So let's go. You know what I'm saying. Now, do we have any parting words for the guests at all, Miss Toastmasters award winner?
Uh, so, some people are just jealous, y'all. Some people are just jealous, and it's
I'm gonna
okay.
get my award one day.
I would just say that it's okay to fail.
Mhm.
As you guys have heard, I've gone through the ins and outs, the ebbs and flows of entrepreneurship. Don't allow what you see on social media to make you think that what you decide to do in business is a one and done, because 9 times out of 10, it's not. And of course, once you do find that one and done, well, not one and done, but once you do find that business that you are sticking with and you are ready to grow it, that's when you hit me up so we can put systems in place that will grow with you.
Let's go. Let's go. Noah, thank you so much for joining us on Wealth is a Journey podcast. Hopefully, we have helped somebody in their business realize that they need systems. Also, realize that if you hit a bump in the road on your entrepreneurial journey, that you can pivot, and or if you hit bumps in the road in life,
Mm-hmm.
marriage or relationships and things of that nature, you can pivot and you can come out on the other side, and you will laugh at the past, but you have to have that perspective. You have to have the perspective. You got to keep going, man. People need
Yeah.
you out here, man. People need you out here. So keep going. Thank you so much for joining Wealth is a Journey podcast. We will see you next week. Peace.